Thank you, Madam Speaker. I rise for a point of personal privilege.
Delegate Adams, you have the floor.
Ladies and gentlemen of the House, I rise to address you on behalf of the overwhelming majority of constituents I represent in Southside Virginia. And I rise to add my voice to theirs in opposition to the series of bills engrossed yesterday that appear on today's calendar, legislation that will infringe upon the rights of the law-abiding citizens who keep and bear arms. These are the first votes many of us will take with respect to these matters. And before we do so, I think it's important to give pause and consider the circumstances surrounding these proposals that have stirred the passions of so many. The people who live in most of the counties that comprise this Commonwealth have a deep sense of our heritage of self-reliance and independence. We are a country built by settlers and pioneers who forged our civilization from the wilderness. Our nation was founded by patriots who gained independence and enshrined the right to arms in our Constitution. So bills that chip away at those rights are strongly resented by our people. And this resentment is especially strong in consideration of the facts and evidence that tell us these proposed laws will have little to no bearing on preventing crime or promoting the public safety. It is important to recall how we came to this point. After the horror of the mass shooting in Virginia Beach, we were called into special session amid wildly irresponsible rhetoric, denigrating those who extended thoughts and prayers for victims, demanding instead that we do something. The language at that time was hyperbolic, outlandish, as if to suggest that Virginia has no laws respecting firearms or no laws that would prohibit a mass shooting. And that rhetoric, as this body well knows, only intensified when we voted to adjourn the special session with referrals to the Virginia State Crime Commission. But the members of this body would have done well to consider the facts presented to that commission. If so, it would be observed that the number of crimes involving the use of a firearm has steadily declined over several years as access has increased. It would be observed that the evidence shows us that laws limiting the number or frequency of firearm purchases are ineffective. And it would be observed that more people in Virginia are killed by knives than with all long guns combined. Do these facts comport with the justification for more gun laws and more proposals like the ones we see today? They do not. Instead, we're subjected to emotional appeals divorced from the facts. When it was reportedly conceded that the proposed laws would not have prevented the mass shooting used to justify the call for the special session, the obvious question that should have been raised is who the new laws will affect. And the answer is the law-abiding. That's who? The people that we represent. And the people of this Commonwealth could not have possibly done more to express their views. We all know that in over 100 localities, Virginians have passed resolutions supporting the idea of Second Amendment sanctuaries in their backyards. That is remarkable. And tens of thousands of those law-abiding people descended on the Capitol grounds, despite the smears that preceded their arrival, to demonstrate in an extraordinary protest. And to blithely respond by simply saying elections have consequences ignores these voices. And it ignores the significant regional differences that make up this Commonwealth. It ignores the special and unique heritage of freedom, due process, and right to self-defense we all hold. So I urge you, colleagues, consider these matters when casting your votes today. Vote no. Reject the donors from outside the state. Reject the cynical politics that would tell us to never let a good crisis go to waste. Thank you.